Today, we are exploring a really powerful framework from Guy Bowden's book, Nobody Gives Me Oxygen. We're going to look at how to reclaim our personal space, boost our self-esteem, and navigate those tricky power dynamics without letting the world dictate our worth. So let's jump right in.
Okay, let's dive into this because this visual metaphor is just startling. We've got this giant, smug boss literally pressing down on an exhausted worker, pinching his collar right through the laptop screen. I mean, it perfectly captures that suffocating power dynamic so many of us find ourselves trapped in. Whether that's at work, in a personal relationship, or honestly, just dealing with the sheer demands of modern life. Looking at this, you can almost physically feel the lack of air in the room, right?
So let me ask you, have you ever felt like you're just passively accepting whatever people throw at you? Because, well, it's surprisingly easy to fall into that trap. Bowden points out that a lot of us are living in what he calls quiet desperation. You know the drill. We smile, we nod, we take on that extra project, we accept subtle disrespect, and little by little, we just let our boundaries completely erode. We turn the other cheek so often we literally forget we have the right to stand our ground. That quiet desperation, that's exactly what that exhausted character is feeling. Just unheard, undervalued, and totally suffocated.
Section 1, a replacement philosophy. And this brilliantly illustrates the mindset shift we need. You see, the old way is that traditional, honestly kind of toxic advice to just accept everything, keep your head down, and turn the other cheek. But Bowden challenges this head-on with his new way, a replacement philosophy that's entirely built on loving ourselves first and fully owning our inherent power. It's about realizing, hey, you don't have to be a human sponge for everyone else's demands. You've got to put your own metaphorical oxygen mask on first.
Which brings us to the core, absolute heart of this work. Nobody gives me oxygen. Think about that for a second. It's both a literal and a figurative wake-up call. Nobody's going to just walk up to you and voluntarily hand over the breathing room you so desperately need. Nobody's going to intuitively enforce your boundaries for you. You have to create that space yourself. We've got to educate ourselves on what we will accept and critically what we absolutely will no longer accept. It is, essentially, a bold declaration of emotional independence.
Section 2, meet the solution strategist. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the specific title Bowden claims for himself, a spiritual pragmatist. What does that actually mean? Well, it's about combining deep, faith-oriented inner work with incredibly practical, out-of-the-box strategies to overcome life's hurdles. He uses this razor-sharp intuition to cut right through the deception, especially, the lies we tell ourselves, just clearing out the junk so that authentic, empowered solutions can actually take root. And let me tell you, these inside-out strategies are not just empty academic theories. They are seriously battle-tested. I mean, Bowden used these exact principles to manifest a miraculous recovery from cancer. On top of that, he's taken these strategies to the absolute highest levels of global power, advising world leaders like Kenya's former President Daniel Arap Moi and President Uhuru Kenyatta. For over 25 years, he's traveled the globe, figuring out the strategies of geniuses and mentors, and using them to help everyday people and high-profile clients resolve severe financial and health crises. The guy brings an immense level of real-world credibility to the table.
Section 3, the blueprint for self-esteem.
Right here, we get a literal roadmap for optimizing our lives. It logically walks us from understanding exactly why we're lacking oxygen in the first place, all the way through building up our self-confidence, transcending the fear of rejection, learning to think big, and ultimately living fully in the present moment.
Let's move to and see how this builds into 4 core, highly actionable steps. Step 1. Raising our self-esteem. I mean, you can't demand oxygen if you don't even believe you deserve to breathe, right? Step 2. Transcending rejection. Once you actually value yourself, you stop letting the word no completely destroy your foundation. Step 3 is choosing a responsive mindset. So this means acting deliberately, instead of just reacting emotionally to whatever life throws your way. And finally, step 4, living in the present, because that is where true peace and actual power reside.
Underpinning every single one of those steps is this one: unshakable core belief. Anything can be surmounted. Bowden firmly believes that no matter how desperate or bleak a situation appears, the resources to escape it are already out there. They already exist. If we just take a goal-oriented approach, think a little outside the box, and stay open to catching just 1 or 2 new insights, we can absolutely get up and running again. It is such a fiercely optimistic view of human potential.
Section 4. The power of speaking up.
Calling back to that exhausted guy we saw at the very beginning, well, take a look at him now. He's deployed a parachute, rising above his circumstances, flashing a peace sign. It totally symbolizes detaching from those toxic power dynamics, but doing it peacefully and firmly. It's all about taking audacious actions to shape our own reality, without having to rely on rage or bitterness to get us there.
To really highlight how universal this struggle is, Bowden actually references the hit song Brave by Sarah Bareilles right in his preface. And as he points out, at the time of publishing, that music video had over 73 million views on YouTube. 73 million. That staggering number isn't just a fun piece of pop culture trivia, it's a massive cultural indicator. It proves just how many tens of millions of people are out there quietly yearning to finally speak their truth. They want to stop being the backlash of somebody else's lack of love, and they just want to be brave with their words.
So, the crucial point is the ultimate promised outcome of becoming a spiritual pragmatist. It's not just that we communicate, it's that we communicate with ease and with joy. Once we deeply, truly know that we matter, all that desperation just fades away. The exhausting struggle for air stops. We can finally advocate for ourselves with a genuine smile, feeling totally secure in our own self-worth.
Which leaves us with a million-dollar question. Will you stay in quiet desperation, turning the other cheek while someone else pinches your collar? Or will you start speaking up and claiming your own oxygen? Remember, the resources to change your situation are already there. The choice is entirely yours. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.